All right. So good morning to everyone. Thanks very much, Bernie. Good morning to everyone. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. I am your chairman, Julius Barcelona. And welcome to our session for today with regards to Mulberry, which I think is going to be a very interesting topic for us to explore, especially as a potential business opportunity. So yeah, thank you again to Bernie Yap for bringing our speakers in this morning. And I think we have three. Tama ba, Bernie? Tatlo tayo mag-ano sa atin ngayon.
Opo.
Okay. So talagang coalition session tayo.
At may kanya-kanyang expertise kasi sila.
Nice. Sige, so that's great. We get to know. But because of that, let's speed it along. So okay. And finally, we get to the people that make all of this possible. Maybe please show on screen all of the generous supporters of the Agribusiness and Countryside Development Foundation. We are a nonprofit member-supported organization. And without the support of all of our members and our partners, as you see on screen, we would not be able to do what we do today. And if you are joining us this morning, thank you very much for your generous support for us. That allows us to continue bringing you these interesting topics every week. And if you are joining us 2 weeks later through our social media, welcome. We hope you enjoy today's session. If you are interested in doing more, engaging with our speakers through our informal sessions, or gaining access to our wide network of agribusiness and countryside development organizations, do consider joining us as a member. Our links are in the description. You can send us an email to introduce yourself and why you'd like to join, and we'd be very happy to welcome you. Again, we would not be here without your generous support. So again, do consider joining us as a member. All right, so without further ado, may I please invite our president, Mr. Ernie Ordonez, to introduce our speakers, plural, for this morning. Ernie, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. We're very pleased that we have, as Bernie said, a coalition of three. Fantastic. The first, of course, is Director Norman De Jesus. He's the director of an interesting group in the Pampanga State University system. He's the head of the alternative low-impact agriculture system, full professor. The second one was the former dean of the College of Agriculture Systems and Technologies. And I asked about him, who's not yet here, and Director Norman told me that he actually studied in Japan, right? And this thing is a market. There's a market in Japan. It's fascinating because usually when you produce, you have no market, we lose money. This one, there's a market. So they're really doing what people say. We businessmen believe that we don't do things unless there's market. And he actually studied there, right? And the third one who will interact with that is the public relations officer, Mr. Emmanuel Pangilinan. I did say that if possible, the speaker will give a short introduction, a few minutes, as to why they got here to a personal connection. Because as we said, we measure ourselves not only in terms of the forum, but what we do after the forum to pursue the vision of our deceased chairman, which is really rural development, poverty alleviation. And if they succeed with this project, they'll give lots of jobs, which we'd otherwise not get because it's a new export market. So on that note, I'd like to welcome the speakers and hopefully we'll interact with you after the forum. For those internationally, perhaps we just, to start with, let's just have a contact number now. Because we do this because people abroad, right now you can, telephone, low cost or for free. So, Mr. Chairman, as we note, instead of three, we'll just have one. Dr. Norman De Jesus give us, if possible, his office number or his cell number so that they can interact rather than go through. They can act in directly. So those who want to go into Mulberry don't have to go to us, they go direct. No? But we try to keep track. So, Chairman, before we start, may I ask Dr. Norman De Jesus to give us a number, either office number or cell phone number. Norman De Jesus, can you just give it verbally so that the people listening around the world can get your number?
Okay, sir. 0928-550-2561. That's my personal cell phone number.
Wow, how nice of you. Because many people, they give the office numbers, they don't want to be disturbed. But you're willing to give your personal number. How nice. I will repeat it now. 0928 550
2561.
2561. I'm saying slowly para they can write it down. O sige. So Mr. Chair, without much ado, perhaps we can start already. Dr. Norman, perhaps you can start. You're the first speaker of this triumvirate, right? Sige.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, esteemed guests and participants, Mr. Chairman and Mr. President. My task is very simple, is to introduce the presentation of my two colleagues. The first one will be on the production aspect of the mulberry leaf production for tea processing. The second one is a profitability presentation of mulberry tea leaf for tea, as well as the establishments of the factory of the same. A background of this project, actually, this is a JICA funded project. We started way back in 2013 with our late president, Dr. Soriano. And it went a long way after a series of surveys and surveys. We finally established the factory, wherein the machines were given through JICA funds. And we have a private firm, a partner firm in Japan, and the produce will be export back to Japan through the effort of this Japanese firm. What else? As Secretary Ernie mentioned, Manny is our PRO here in the university, and practically is very much involved in this project, as well as Dr. Cosio. Dr. Cosio is an economist. He will be taking care of the profitability. That will be the focus of his presentation later. What more can I say about the background of this project? So, Manny Pangilinan will be presenting right away the production aspect, a very brief one of mulberry, how we do it here at Pampanga State University. Practically, the thing that we will be presenting before you, ladies and gentlemen, are an experience, should I say, of our university in coming up this factory. Yeah, without further ado, Manny, can you proceed with your presentation, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Manny, excuse me. I'll just say one thing. Actually, you're powering 3 topics, no? But as we said, our objective is really to make this thing happen in more places, to spread the light that you're shining. And therefore, the technical aspect is nice, but not as important as the profitability, because we're businessmen. So if possible, give more emphasis to profitability and the technical also, but profitability talaga, because we want to spread the word. Yeah,
Yes,
we're businessmen. Okay, thank you.
Just for you to have an idea how we do the planting, a very brief one. Manny.
Okay, sir. Let me share our. Are you seeing my screen now? That the one that I've shared.
Yes.
Yes. So please allow me to give me a short time to discuss about the mulberry production and processing. So this is the topic that I was going to tackle this morning. So as a background, mulberry is a Moraceae species, a genus of flowering plants in the family of Moraceae, consists of diverse species of deciduous trees commonly known as the mulberries. So this is very endemic in the Philippines. So we have so many varieties. Generally, it has 64 subordinate taxa, 3 of which are well known and ostensibly named the fruit color of the best known cultivar. We have also the On this variety, we have three known. We have the white, red, and the black mulberry. So as we all know, these mulberry leaves formerly uses in feeding silkworms. But now in our university, we are producing tea, so for human consumption. So these are the health benefits that we derive from the leaves as tea. So we can decrease the cholesterol. Mulberry tea can decrease the cholesterol, hypertension, and also control blood sugar for those who are diabetic. This has a good health benefit. So during the harvesting of these mulberry tree leaves, we collected branches for to be used in as planting materials. So we put prices on the different cuttings and saplings. When we say saplings, these are free-rooted planting materials. We sold them at 5 pesos for the cuttings and 50 pesos for the sapling. So this is the additional income that we can derive from the tea. So we can also sell cuttings and saplings. So this is the planting in the field. So the field should be well cultivated. Saplings are being transplanted in the identified planting area with a planting distance of 2 meters between rows and 50 centimeters between hills. So yung mga those who are pre-rooted saplings are directly transplanted to the plant to the field. If we use cuttings, there are tendency that the cuttings will die and the percentage is very high. So that's why we recommend the use of saplings in planting mulberry directly in the field. So after planting, after 6 months, that is the first time to harvest. And then every other 3 months then after. So here in the Philippines, we can harvest mulberry around 4 times. If you have very good irrigation system, at least 4 to 5 times we can harvest mulberry. So these are the branches being harvested, and these are the one who are collected and being used as cuttings and saplings. So there are 2 critical factors in mulberry production. We do these researches. We have the organic fertilizer and the irrigation. So these are the 2 very critical factors in mulberry production. So we do this, at least we apply 1 kilogram of organic fertilizer. We make sure that it is very important to produce organic mulberry tea because it is being consumed by people for health benefits. That's why we do not apply any synthetic or chemicals when we are producing mulberry tea. So after harvesting, small branches are removed so that new branches will be grown. Also, we use this one. These are beddings from the poultry houses. We process them or we make them decompose for several months before using it, and we used it as mulching materials also for the mulberry to prevent the weeds from growing. So how this slide, you can see how big are the mulberry leaves. This is the good quality mulberry leaves. So in times of during summer season, we promote the installation of drip irrigation so that we can produce good quality leaves during even though this is summer season or dry spell. And we maintain at least 1 foot height of mulberry trunks. This is after harvesting so that it will promote multiple branching and ease of harvesting. So we will go now to the processing. So after harvesting the branches of mulberry leaves, mulberry, we bring them to the factory. We defoliate them, or we remove the leaves, and then there are different equipments. As Dr. Norman mentioned a while ago, that these are from Japan, patented by JICA. This is the leaf cutting equipment. The leaves will pass through series of equipment. So from starting to cutting, conveyor, going to steamer. This is a steamer. Then we have cooling machine here, and the uptake conveyor going to the first rubbing machine. After 1 hour, and the temperature are being set here, we will take out the processed mulberry tea here, going to the conveyor, and then to the other rubbing equipment. These are drying equipment, actually. So after here, after 1 hour again, the processed mulberry leaves will be taken out, and then going to this conveyor, going to the drying equipment for the final drying of the mulberry tea. So this is the final product, the leaves. This is the finished product. After going to series of equipment, then we package the finished product into a 15 kilograms weight of foil bags, and we vacuum seal them for preserving the quality of the leaves or the tea. So this is the finished product vacuum pack mulberry tea, ready for export. This is a 15 kilogram net weight. So thank you very much on my part. I think Dr. Cosio is around now for the business aspect of the mulberry. Thank you very much.
Hey, do we switch over? Dr. Cosio?
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you. So let's now see if we will be going to make money from mulberry leaves production and use this as raw materials for making tea powder. So the data that I will be presenting are based on our experience on the at the PSAU ALIAS Center, or ALIAS is an acronym for Alternative Low Input Agriculture System. So, of course, in any business endeavor, we will be encountering costs or expenses in setting it up. Production costs would include, there are contracted activities. These are for land preparation, crop establishment, fertilizer top dressing, harvesting, transporting, and delivering. Hard labor for organic fertilizer making and weeding, fuel for irrigation, weeding, and transporting leaves, oil for grass cutting and multi-cab baker, fishing twine for grass cutting, chicken manure for making organic fertilizer, food for those hard laborers or laborers, and depreciation for equipments, machineries, and tools. And I included here miscellaneous expenses for unforeseen or overlooked items. So for now, we have a 10-year-old mulberry farm at PSAU at the university, which were planted 10 years ago. 2013. So we will be presenting how much we incurred in establishing that mulberry plantation on a hectare of land. So we will be incurring less than 50,000 pesos to establish a mulberry plantation, 1 hectare. Then the first year of doing it will be more costly than the succeeding years, because only in the first year of operation that we will perform land preparation and crop establishment. After that, because the trees are already settled, we will just maintain them. For now, for this slide would show how much we're going to earn. Kikita ba tayo sa isang hektarya ng mulberry farm? So these are the assumptions. Okay? As the mulberry plant gets older, it will produce more leaves, more branches. The income for this business activity would come from the sale of leaves and cuttings, because cuttings can be used as planting materials. So we have this yield. First year we have 0.4 tons per tree, and as Mr. Pangilinan has presented, there will be around 10,000 trees in an hectare of mulberry farm. So on the first year of operation, we'll be harvesting 4 tons of leaves. The price is set at 17 pesos per kilogram. So gross revenue would be 68,000. Net income from leaves production alone would be around 20,000. The greater source of profit would come from the cuttings. Even if they will be sold at 1 peso per piece, because you will be producing 10,000 or 100,000 in a hectare of land. From those 10,000 trees, you will already have a gross revenue of 100,000, because number of cuttings per tree is around 10 pieces. So the net income from leaves and cuttings would be greater. It's around 120,000 pesos. Return on investment, balik kita, would be 42%. And ROI from leaves and cutting production is more than 250%. So as years goes by, this figure, especially our profitability, would be going to on an upward trend. I'll just show you quickly how much would be the cost of production per hectare every year. Okay, 2017, 2018, 2019 to 2020, and 2021, 2022. These are the most recent figure. The expenses were deflated using inflation rate. That's why you have different figures. Inflation rate was considered on all cost items. So this is the income per hectare year by year on year, every year, 2015 to 2016, 2017 to 2018, 2019 to 2020, 2021 to 2022. So For 2022, the most recent data shows that we'll have more than 250,000 net profit from producing mulberry leaves alone, using a hectare of land. And when we become successful in selling cuttings, the income would be significantly higher. It would go more than 5 million pesos per hectare. As to the cost of producing tea powder from mulberry leaves, this is the production cost. The capacity of the Mulberty Tea Factory is for a whole day operation, 8-hour operation, is 1,000 kilogram raw leaves. And we need 3 laborers to man the operation from feeding the leaves until the powdering of mulberry leaves. We have expenses on food, operating costs, which includes electricity, LPG, and water, packaging materials, depreciation on the machineries and equipment, and miscellaneous for unforeseen or overlooked cost items. So the total production cost in powdering around 1,000 kilogram raw leaves is 167 pesos and 13 centavos per kilogram. Selling price per kilogram could go from 1,000 to 1,500. We are now transacting with an interested buyer, and we are offering him the price of 1,500 per kilogram of powdered mulberry leaves. So we'll be observing how the market would react on this. But our break-even cost or break-even price is only around 167. So if we have a partner who could export our products, and we will be having a memorandum of agreement to on the procurement, sale, and exportation of mulberry leaves powder to Japan. Actually, he is the one who facilitated everything for the establishment of the Mulberty Tea Factory, because he himself has a business on using mulberry leaf tea. Okay, I think that would be my presentation, so that
Sure.
we will have...
So if that's the case,
Mr.
then
Chair,
we
Mr. Chairman, I just asked a question because you should ask questions after everyone's finished, but I like to ask this up front now.
sure.
You know, we're businessmen, no? Thank you very much for giving us the cost and benefit. Your last slide talks about production cost, 167, selling price 1,500. Can we do apples to apples, meaning to say, what's the production cost and what is the actual revenue? Apples to apples. Can you do that so we see how big the profit margin is? Because it's not 167 versus 1,500, right? Those are not apples to apples. So apples, what would it be? What's the cost? What's the revenue? Do you have that now? If not, later na lang.
Sir, good morning. Thank you for that questions. Yeah, we're sorry that we have not yet that data, because those data were extrapolated using ratio and proportion from a smaller area. So I converted that into a per hectare basis. For the prices, actual prices, selling price of the mulberry because mulberry leaf tea is quite new to the market. We are still observing what is the prevailing market price. But I have Googled this morning, you know, that the 1.5 gram of Lipton tea from Lazada, a similar product, cost around 10 pesos. And that's only a package of a packaging material containing only 1.5 gram.
Okay, thank you very much. We are here, we're bankers here and finance people. So as we spread this, we can work with you so that we can get more people to borrow money based on your ROI. Because that's what we do. If your turf is Pampanga, we can bring it to the whole country. And then we can have people look at the financials, because the one thing they look at is the only two things. What's the financial, and is it true you get that kind of market? Looks like your market is fine, looks like your costs are fine. We just package it so we can go to the bank and get the money fast. Okay, thank you.
All right, so thank you very much for that, Ernie. Let me just, okay, there we go. So yeah, so we have quite a bit of time for still remaining in our formal session. So I'd like to open the formal session to an open forum for our speakers. So the same rules apply. First of all, for those of you who would like to ask any questions, if you're on the computer, please look at the bottom of your screen. There is an option there that says reactions. And if you click that one, that should show you an option that says raise hand. If you click that, just as Oscar has just done right now, you'll see that he has a little yellow hand on the top left corner of his video feed. So if you are on your cell phone, depending on whether you're using Android or iOS, you should either see 3 dots or 3 horizontal lines. Tap that. That should show you the options for. That should show you the option for reactions. You tap that, and then there'll be the option for raise your hand. So if you tap that further, then that should also allow you to. That should also line you up for any questions. Okay. If that's a little too difficult, you can also put your question in the chat box. So any questions that you might have, you can write them out in the chat box, and I will line you up for any questions. So I can call you if you're willing to speak your question out loud, or failing that, if all else fails, I'll ask Vivian and Bernie to help me to draw my attention to anyone who's trying to catch our attention by raising their hand on video, or trying to otherwise signal that they'd like to ask a question. Okay, and since we're still in the formal session, I'd like everyone to limit themselves to just one question. We can have a more free discussion in our informal session, but for now, in the interest of time, just one question, please. Okay, so I see Oscar has his hand raised. So Oscar, please.
Yeah. Okay. I saw in the exhibits that most of your income comes from the cuttings, sale of the cuttings. No. So actually, the success of the venture depends on the market for your cuttings. Who do you think will be your market for the cuttings? In other words, you will have to depend therefore for continuous market of cuttings. So who do you envision will be interested in buying your cuttings?
If I may answer that, the future farmers who would like to engage in the same, because we will be establishing an accreditation protocol so that all the farmer producing mulberry to be sold in the factory are accredited, because in Japan they are testing the chemical analysis of the same. If they are contaminated with other chemicals, that is not allowed for food. So hindi siya po pwede. Kanya we would like to control the quality, including the planting materials, so that they will be accredited if they want to sell the produce in the factory.
Okay. I see Ike has raised his hand. Ike, please.
Yeah, are you also into the silk business or sa tea lang kayo?
Sa tea lang po. And the other refuse, like for example, the leaves and the branches that are not processed into tea are made into compost, and we use them back again for the next cropping.
Di ba sayang naman, mayroon din naman livelihood potential yung silk?
Yes, sir. But our purpose and our market is for tea. That's why we are not engaging into silk production. Merong ibang agency nag-engage dito sa silk production. That is in Dimsu, if I'm not mistaken. But ours will be solely for tea processing.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next question comes from Jessa May Ganiron. Jessa, would you like to come in, please? Jessa? Okay, baka siya si Jessa. Our question is, hello, I was cut off a while ago and not sure if it was presented. May I ask what variety or cultivar of mulberry is being used? Because I am assuming it will affect the yield. Thank you.
Yes, we have. At the outset, we tested a lot of varieties of mulberry, but the one that we are using, which is Batak, showed the quality when it comes to leaf production. Some are for fruit, some are for other purposes, but for this purpose, for tea, the Batak variety is the one we are using.
Okay. I hope that answers your question, Jessa. Okay, our next question comes from Ed Rojas. Ed, do you want to come in, please?
Hi, good morning. I just wanted to find out if there were any clinical studies made on the health benefit of consuming mulberry tea. You know, a lot of people consume green tea because of the health benefits, and clinical studies seems to support that. How about mulberry tea?
Yeah, in Japan, long before we started here in the Philippines, they are doing it already there in Japan, in particular in what province is that, Dr. Cosio?
Yamanashi.
Yamanashi Prefecture. They have the results already. By the time we will formally introduce it to the market, we will reflect those medical benefits of consuming mulberry tea.
Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. Yeah, so are there other questions?
Julius, may I ask?
Sure, Bernie. Go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Just for clarification, you mentioned that it's endemic, meaning we have our own here, because there was one prospective participant who said that it is not native.
Come again, ma'am?
The mulberry that you are using is endemic, if I got it right from the initial introduction, because there was one prospective participant who said that it is not native. So can I
Yeah,
be clarified? Yeah.
actually, ma'am, we even compared, should I say, the one they are using in Japan. Batak came from Dimsu, by the way, They have the sericulture center there. So I guess it's a local plant, if not endemic, because they are using there for so long already. We compared the variety we got because when we were in Japan, we brought with us some cuttings and then we tested them here. Mas mataas yung yield, no? Yung herbage yield nung batak variety natin kumpara doon sa ginagamit nila sa Japan. And the recent performance of this, the Japanese was amazed because it surpassed the performance of Japanese varieties with our recent harvesting last month. We recorded 1 point, how many kilo per tree, Manny?
1.3, sir.
1.3 kilos per tree. No? Samantala sa Japan, hindi nila nakukuha yan. Again, going back to your question, ma'am, we believe it's local, yung batak variety.
So that's good to hear. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much for that. Are there other questions? Before I go to any follow-up questions that people have, I do see some, I see one of our former speakers is here, Mr. Richard Arsen from LERC. Perhaps you have some thoughts or insights into the presentation, sir?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir Julius. Good morning. Thank you, Ma'am Bernie, for inviting me. I would like to know the technology they are using for drying, because we are doing also herbal tea like basil and kale using portasol, because we are in the urban area. So what I would like to know the technology that they're doing for the drying, regardless of season. Thank you.
About drying, Manny, can you share, can you walk them through dun sa pag-process ng drying sa machine natin?
Yes, sir. I will try to share the screen again for my presentation so that I can for the equipments. So for the question of Sir, sorry. So these are the equipment, sir, we are using for the drying. A series of equipment from cuttings. Then the leaves will go through several series of equipments until it will reach the final stage. On these two kinds of equipment, sir, they are already drying the leaves of mulberry. Dito po sa dalawang equipment na to. And then on the final stage, which are the burner. On the back of these equipments, we have also very big burner on the both likuran ng dalawang na to. We have two burners. And then on the final stage, in the equipment, we have also burner here, the drying of the mulberry leaves. That is the process of drying that we do in the factory. Thank you.
So Julius, follow-up question. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
It seems that the technology is really sophisticated, considering it is funded by JICA. So if an ordinary farmers association who would like to venture this kind of mulberry tea production, what is the minimum capex or in terms of affordability and accessibility of the machine and technology in the Philippines?
Siguro it's worth mentioning, sir, that this equipment that money is showing, where came from Japan, no? In short, Japanese technology itong ginagamit namin sa pag-process ng tea. That is why we don't have that much an idea kung uulitin o gagawin uli using locally manufactured equipment. But I believe this can be replicated also as long as magagawa ng tama yung mga equipment na i-manufacture. Like what Bunny said earlier, yung equipment series sila. Once you feed the leaves, the raw leaves to the equipment, lalabas na yun sa dulo na finished product na powdered in powdered form. Yes, sir. I think that's the best description na pwede namin sabihin.
Okay.
If I may add, I may add.
Yes po. Yes po.
Opo, kaya po ang direction muna natin ngayon. Of course, we will not advise an ordinary farmer to invest on those equipment because they cost around 16 million pesos, including the building. That's why our direction would be up to the production of mulberry leaves only. So we will buy the leaves from the farmers, have them processed in the factory. Maybe later there will be a if this experience would be successful in Pampanga, later investors can engage into this putting up the factory and replicate what we are doing. So pwede po yun. So ngayon, we will be training farmers to produce mulberry leaves and cuttings muna po. Salamat po.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you po.
Thanks very much for that. All right. I saw Ray Kang Leon raise his hand early.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, guys. Thank you for your presentation. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Ano lang, Julius, 2 questions, no? The first one is in terms doon sa harvesting ng leaves. Is there a protocol on harvesting the leaves? Like, for example, harvesting only the young leaves, not the older ones? That's the first question, because I know that the chemical components of the age of the leaves are different, no? Then second question is, please correct me if I'm wrong, no? Kasi, so, for example, if the farmer has this 1 hectare, so yung bang yung 1 hectare of mulberry trees planting, are part of that, a portion of that will be harvested into cuttings only to be sold to the farmers, and part of that for the leaves. Tama ba yun?
On the first question, sir, tama kayo na hindi lahat ng dahon sinasama sa process. We discard the too young, the apical portion, only the green color with ang isinasali. That is why we are doing the harvesting every 3 months or at least 2 months para hindi masyadong matanda, hindi naman masyadong bata. Yes, tama kayo na iba-iba yung chlorophyll content o yung nutrient content ng mga dahon ng halaman. Kanya yung masyadong mura, hindi namin sinasabi. About the cuttings, we are only, as I mentioned earlier, we are trying to accredit farmers. That is why they should only buy on accredited producer of cuttings, just to ensure the quality of the mulberry leaves. We are trying to control from planting materials up to harvesting. As I've mentioned earlier, pagdating kasi sa Japan, may mga test silang ginagawa whether yung tsaan na dinadala natin doon ay walang contamination of other harmful chemicals like synthetic fertilizers and other chemicals.
Why not do the testing here before exporting?
Maybe later, ma'am, we can do that. But the market is in Japan. That is why they are very particular. All the products na pumapasok sa kanila ay tinetest din nila.
Okay.
But maybe we are hoping that we can do the same here in the country before exporting them.
You have to talk to Ray. That's his business.
Thank you very much.
Actually, ma'am, just to mention, we are in the process of working with FDA because these are intended for export market. That is why we are completing. We have yet to experience yung bulk exportation of this product. Hindi pa po kami tapos.
Okay, sige. Are there other questions? Because I think Ike has been waiting for a while.
Please follow up lang.
Let's give chance to Ike first. Nag-long question ka na, Ray. Sorry. Ike, ka muna. Go ahead.
Yeah, may I know what kind of help you're getting from the other agencies like the OST, Department of Public or maybe CHED?
Ikaw na ang sagot kanta.
Sorry, yan.
So, sorry, di po namin masyadong.
Yeah, may I know what kind of help you're getting from the other agencies like the OST, Agriculture, maybe DENR or CHED or TESDA?
Sa ngayon, wala pa pong ganun kadaming tulong kasi as mentioned earlier, we started as a private engagement with this Japanese firm, and then eventually we were able to seek assistance from JICA because they believe in this project. That is why wala pa kaming masyadong complementation with other government. But eventually, makakatulong po namin sila like DNR, DA, and other instrumentalities of the government.
Okay.
In addition for
Dr. Cosio, nakamute ka po, sorry.
Po, yun po, yes po. If I may add the answer of Dr. De Jesus. Inintroduce po ito kasi nung Japanese investor. No? So dinala niya dito yung kanilang sample variety, doing some adaptation trials. Tapos kinumpara sa ating mga local varieties or cultivars. Ngayon po, nung nakikita niya may potential, inilapit niya ito sa JICA to further develop it and seek the grant of factory equipment and machineries. So ngayon po, At saka marami pong pag-aaral. No? Our team with the team of Japanese expert have made studies on this, including marketing studies, the potentials of of mulberry leaves for tea making. So later, yeah, by submitting proposals to our partner government agencies, we are very positive that they will be supporting this project. Salamat po.
Okay, sige. So we're coming to the end of our formal session. Maybe I can ask Ernie to have the final question of the formal session before we proceed to the informal session.
Well, just a comment. As I said before the meeting started, I was really engaged with the Japan group, JICA. It was listed as the best out of 57 projects. And I did that as a private sector person running a Japanese funded project. And this was the first project. It was Mulberry, as I was saying, it was Mulberry for silkworm. And therefore, what I found out is that we have to get the academia and the business together. And that's why I'm asking business questions. And I find out that usually the feasibility studies, the financial verification, the market analysis is extremely important. And therefore, the unity of the university and the Filipino businessmen might be strengthened. So we look forward to discussions with you, regarding how to package a feasibility study, the risk analysis, etc. Businessmen, we don't know much about science and technology, but we know a bit about business. So we can have science and business cooperate, and that is the function of our foundation. Our foundation is supposed to transfer technology so that we'll make money and create jobs and eliminate poverty. That's why we're really interested in this, and we want to know the forecast here of the market, as was asked about, etc. So I look forward to this, and we're still in an early stage, but we'll get in touch with you this week already to find out what status is that market understanding, what status is the forecast, no, for the next few years, what's the ROI, what's the projected cash flow, etc. Because actually, kung maganda yan, we can really move fast and already talk to different parts of Mindanao and Visayas. And I'm already in touch with Mindanao, so they already tried this thing. So just to let you know, we look forward to this, and this is the union of the academe and the business. Without you, we'll do nothing. We don't know how to do things that will compete. And then maybe we can help you in the financial analysis, getting the money, spreading the market, etc. So that's my comment, and I look forward to this, and I'm acquainted with this Mulberry already. So I really am looking forward to the days past when I was involved with it. It was in Mindanao. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, I think we have to end our formal session. But hold on, we do have an informal session coming up specifically for our members and paid attendees of this session. So first of all, let's show our appreciation to our three speakers this morning. Maybe please flash the certificates of appreciation on the screen. Okay, so the Agribusiness and Countryside Development Foundation Incorporated, in partnership with the Management Association of the Philippines, together with our special partner institutions, senior special partner institutions, corporate members, and individual members, present this certificate of appreciation to our three speakers for this morning, Dr. Norman De Jesus, Dr. Rogelio Cosio, and Mr. Emmanuel Pangilinan, for their invaluable support in the advocacy and promotion of agribusiness and countryside development, and for their commendable and unselfish services rendered to this foundation as our resource speaker, given on our 24th weekly online meeting of 2023, given this 4th day of July in Makati City, Philippines. Signed myself as our chairman and Ernie Ordonez as our president. And now may I invite everyone to please turn on your cameras for a group photo. So maybe please, hope to see everyone's faces. Richard, baka gusto mo ring magpakita na. Okay lang ba? And we have another one, Nanjeli Cortez. Yeah, please. Good morning, Richard. All right.
Good morning
Sige,
po.
All right, Vivian, count us in.
At the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Okay. And so for those of you who do have to go ahead, this does end the formal session for this morning. We have two parts to our sessions, the formal and informal. So the formal session is what we show online for free. And if you are joining us 2 weeks later online, I'm afraid this is as far as you can access from us. If you would like to join us for our informal sessions after the formal sessions have concluded to engage with the speakers more and with the other members of the foundation, we do invite you to consider joining us as a member. The Agribusiness and Countryside Development Foundation is a member-supported nonprofit organization, and we rely on the support and generosity of members like you to continue bringing our content to you every week. So if this interests you in any way, please do consider joining us. Our links are in the description. You can send us an email, introduce yourself to us, and let us know why you'd like to join. Be very happy to hear from you. Okay, and for those of you who do have to go ahead, we have, let me just share with you our topic for next week, which I think is also going to be a very interesting one, especially if you are looking to enter the hospitality sector. So eco hotels and countryside development. So how hospitality might be an industry that may be a little overlooked when it comes to countryside development. So if this interests you in any way, we hope to see you next week. Yeah. So with that, our formal session has been ended. If you do have to go ahead, thank you very much, and we hope to see you again next week.